It's that time again, guys. It's another 10 reasons why insert wrestler's name they absolutely suck. And I never thought when I was doing this series, I never ever really dreamed that I'd be making a video why this guy sucks. It was only 10 years ago this guy was one of my favourites. But a lot can happen in 10 years. A lot of things can stay the same, but a lot of things can change, and a lot of things have changed, especially regarding CM Punk. And I think it's fair to say the CM Punk that we see in 2021 and the CM Punk that we'll probably continue to see in 2022 absolutely fucking sucks. So here's 10 reasons why CM Punk, Phil Brook, the 0-2 guy in UFC, the guy that never main evented WrestleMania, whatever you want to refer to him as, this is 10 reasons why he sucks. So we're going to start off with number 1, his return to wrestling sucked. We waited 7 years on the return of CM Punk. Arguably, at the time when he was coming back, you could make a case that this was the biggest return in wrestling of all time. The guy had legit stayed away for 7 years. We could not wait to hear what Punk had to say. We could not wait to see what Punk was going to do. But his music came on, the initial pop was good, but he grabbed the mic and then it all went to shit, it all went downhill. Punk basically said that he sat on his couch huffing and moaning for 7 years, and he says that WWE isn't pro wrestling, so it doesn't matter that Undertaker's a part of WWE. Undertaker apparently is not pro wrestling, Shawn Michaels isn't pro wrestling, you know, all those fucking legends aren't pro wrestling just because CM Punk didn't feel at home in WWE and he felt like the last time he got to wrestle for professional wrestling was in Ring of Honor. Well, fuck Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor reminds me of CM Punk. It sucks, just like his return sucked. Number 2, his entire AEW run sucks. He spent most of it, up until recently, where he's just started feuding with MJF, he spent most of it feuding with mid-carders and meaningless feuds and matches on Rampage against absolute bums. Why? Why? This would be like CM Punk during the height of his WWE career, you know, taking on Mustafa Ali or something on a 205 Live. I mean, it just wouldn't happen. So why is he doing it on AEW? It's supposed to be a huge deal. This is supposed to be the last true star in the wrestling business. Hasn't been there in 7 years. And when he comes in, are we going to push him to the top? Are we going to strap a rocket onto his back? No, we're going to put him in fucking meaningless matches with bums that no one's heard of, because that's what AEW do. So his entire AEW run has sucked. If you could scrap it and start again, you would. But if you listen to CM Punk, he'd probably tell you that he's liked this run because he's been able to put people over, even though he's beat everybody's face. So go figure. Speaking of putting people over, number 3. Constant virtue signaling, constant pandering, constantly trying to put over guys that aren't that good by telling us they're great. The young guy's this, the young guy's that. Britt Baker's this, Britt Baker's that. Britt Baker is the 4th pillar of the wall. I mean, who gives a shit about Britt Baker and who gives a shit about young guys like Darby Allin? This is supposed to be CM Punk. This is supposed to be a megastar. And he comes in and he's talking about wanting to work with the younger guys. His first time back, and he puts over, the first thing he does is put over Britt Baker, says, well, you sure know how to make a guy feel like Britt Baker in Pittsburgh. I mean, what? Why? There's no reason for him to do this, apart from trying to look good by putting over a woman and trying to talk up young talent. You know, unbelievable. He talks about young talent. If he really cared about young talent, like he said in his return promo, then why was he sitting at home for 7 years doing nothing when he could have been coming back and, you know, wrestling with these young guys and trying to get them over? But nah, he sat at home feeling sorry for himself and, you know, cursing out WWE. So, and getting his arse whooped in UFC. Speaking of UFC, number 4, sorry, he can't fight. He's had 2 UFC fights and he's lost them both. Now, first fight, you can maybe cut him some slack. He was against Mickey Gall. We didn't really know at the time. I mean, Mickey Gall was just this young guy that came out to Mickey Mouse music and we thought he was shit. Turns out Mickey Gall's actually pretty decent, so we can let that one slide, even though he did get his ass whooped for like 2 minutes straight, 2 minutes and 18 seconds of a pure beatdown. We can let that one go. What we can't let go is his second fight. He fought a guy that was absolutely useless, Mike Jackson, some pro-black guy, some black power dude, some racist guy. And to be fair, maybe actually Punk let him win. Maybe Punk feels like he needs to let the black guy win, but that's what happened. The black guy won. He didn't even try. He just punched Punk over and over and over, and Punk couldn't do anything. Even though Punk knew more moves and was more skilled in martial arts, he wasn't skilled enough to do anything. It was pathetic. He kept trying to take the guy down, and the guy pretty much had no defense, but Punk had zero power to follow through with the moves he was going for. Embarrassing. So 2 fights, 2 losses in UFC. I mean, fair play, he made 500 grand, but I mean, he couldn't even beat a guy that was put in there to lose. So his UFC 2 fights, there's a reason why he sucks. Number 5, he's bitter as fuck. The guy is reaching Bret Hart levels of bitterness. And the thing is, Bret Hart actually, had legit reasons to be bitter. Albeit, Bret Hart is another crybaby who should have just dropped the belt. He did get screwed, the Montreal screw job was a bit hectic on Bret, even though he should have just dropped the belt to begin with. And he legitimately feels like WWE killed his brother, which I don't think's fair. But when you hear the stories of the ambulance and stuff like that, you can understand why Bret is a wee bit bitter towards WWE. But I mean, what has CM Punk got to be bitter about? He didn't get to wrestle. He didn't get to main event WrestleMania. Well, who would main event WrestleMania? His dominant 2-year streak just happened to fall on the 2 WrestleManias where Rock was taking on Cena. No one was going to overtake those 2 on the bill. Doesn't matter if it's CM Punk, doesn't matter if it's Undertaker, doesn't matter if it could be anybody. Rock Cena was always going to main event. And it's just unfortunate that CM Punk's big run, as a top guy in WWE, it fell on the 2 years that those 2 were having matches at Mania. So it sucks, it is what it is. Number 6. His movies suck. I mean, at least he technically admitted this back in WWE when he's having that feud with Triple H, and he told Triple H asked Punk how his movies went, and Punk said he told Triple H, well, my movies went straight to DVD just like yours. Maybe Punk maybe he can read the future, because Punk's movies also went straight to DVD just like Triple H's. I've tried watching them. They weren't that good. Wouldn't recommend it. I can't even remember the name of them. I think one's called Girl on the Third Floor. And then there's another one that he's in like 2 scenes, combined total of about 40 seconds. Not worth watching if you haven't seen it. Number 7 is attire sucks. I mean, I've seen some bad attires. When I think of attires, I put Shawn Michaels' Survivor Series attire up there. The one we had like the long brown trunks. It looked like he shat himself. Well, CM Punk kind of borrowed those trunks from Shawn Michaels for his return match against Darby Allin, and then since then he's been wearing like hoodies and stuff with the name of his dog on it. I mean, let's be real, it's one thing if somebody dies and you wear like rest in peace in their shirt 1 week, and you show it after the match, or in football someone scores and you've got a rest in peace shirt underneath and you lift it up. But for him to constantly come out every week and wear hoodies of his dog, Larry, I mean, where's he going with this? No one cares about Larry. No one who knows who Larry is. It's embarrassing from a so-called star, from a so-called main eventer, for him to come out wearing attire of dogs, and then he was also wearing t-shirts, not your body, not your choice shit. Again, more classic virtue signaling for CM Punk in his shitey attires. Number 8, wasted his prime. He sat at home crying. When, if he continued wrestling, there's no doubt in my mind he would have main evented WrestleMania over the 7 years that he sat at home. One of those years, probably multiple of those years, he would have definitely had got to main event WrestleMania. Or who knows, if he cared that much about wrestling, if he cared that much about young talent, maybe he could have went to TNA. Back when he left WWE, TNA were still doing a good rating. He could have saved TNA. He could have been the main guy in TNA. He could have propelled them. He could have took the fight to WWE. Or, if he came out of retirement earlier, he could have been at the very debut of AEW, and maybe he would have been the first AEW World Champion, and what an impact that would have been for the company. But no, he sat at home crying, and then he decided to come back when he was into his 40s, past his prime. Doesn't make any sense, but hey, at least he got to, sit home and pretend that he won by, crying on his couch and slavering about WWE on his podcast. Number 9, He has a hard-on for ice cream. For some reason, the guy just can't let it go. I mean, back when he was doing his WWE thing, the fight against the Authority, he was doing his semblance to the top. He was talking about, we want ice cream bars, and really, who wants ice cream bars? If I want an ice cream bar, I can open the fridge and I can take one. How about giving us some good fucking wrestling, Punk? How about doing that? That's something you can control. We can control ice cream bars. We can't control if you cut a good promo or cut a good match. So how about you focus on the in-ring and the mic work side of things, and we'll focus on whether we want an ice cream or not to cool us down. And number 10... he's lost all his star power, in my opinion. This is the guy that, when he announced his return, I thought was huge. I thought there was a chance that WWE were going to bring him back, and I thought if he went to AEW, he'd be an absolute game changer. And the ratings do show. In the first week, the amount of fans that tuned in, and they wasted it on Rampage as well, but the viewership went up massively. But since then, what's happened? Absolutely nothing. Because his return has sucked. Everything about him has sucked. And it has just meant that he's no longer the draw that he used to be. Seeing CM Punk doesn't get anyone excited like it used to. And he's been absolutely wasted. So when you think of legends, when you think of people that can draw, CM Punk, in my opinion, has dipped way down below that now. Is he still better than most guys in AEW? Yes. Is he still a guy that AEW are going to put on posters to sell out events, pay-per-views? Yes. But is he a guy now that you think can come back and realistically change the wrestling business? No, because he had that one chance and he blew it. He blew it by kissing the ass to people like Darby Allin and Britt Baker and wanting to face mid-card fucking guys that are bums rather than focusing on his own career and pushing himself as a major star like he should have done. So there you go, guys. That's 10 reasons why CM Punk sucks. I'm going to give you some bonus reasons because why not? There's a hell of a lot, so I may as well give some more. He's a hypocrite. In 2019 or 20, before Punk joined AEW, he said AEW needs to stop mentioning WWE because all they were doing was talking about WWE. But that's ironic because ever since he's joined AEW, he hasn't stopped mentioning WWE. Every single promo he's taken a dig, whether it be a dig at Triple H or a dig at MJF having to go and, get released, or a WrestleMania this, or marry the boss's daughter that. Every promo, or that other company's not pro wrestling, or I never felt loved in that other company. Lame, garbage, crybaby. Man the fuck up, man. You're like 43, 44. Grow up, man, and grow a set and just move on. Another reason why he sucks, he shit himself in the ring. Come on, guys, enough said. I mean, he shat himself. I mean, if that's not enough reason for sucking, then I don't know what is, guys. So there you go, there's 10 reasons why CM Punk, aka Phil Brooks, sucks. And if you didn't like it, guys, then you probably suck too. Till next time, peace.